What up? It's your boy Dave B. Watching DaveBeyondTV, where we go beyond that everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And today, I had a quick little video I wanted to make, and it might turn into a longer video. But right now, I wanted to talk about, when it comes to men and women, if you correlate it correctly, right, or according to just how it is outside, the moon moves every 2 days, right? So the feminine energy is more congruent with, change, switching things up, things of that nature. Now, ironically enough, right, when you look at the moon itself being ruled by Cancer, Cancer is a cardinal sign, which you start to put it together, you like, damn, like that's like something that, even though that's like some kind of duh shit, like when I correlate things to astrology, it's not to try to make a profound point, it's just to explain the context behind a certain energy and where it may derive from, so that we can make better conclusions on why certain things are the way they are. And with those better conclusions, we're able to discern more things. You know what I'm saying? We're able to discern more things. We're able to take things. Goddamn, school bus, bro. I hate being behind school buses. Them shits be inconvenient. Like, damn, like you gotta stop the whole flow of traffic. I had to go past that shit. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, when we're dealing with these different things, okay, that's what I was saying. So when you look at Cancer energy, it's correlated with the moon, right? So Cancer being a cardinal sign, that a lot of time is a feminine, and what I'm saying is not like, oh, that's a feminine nature to be cardinal. And that's not what I'm saying. If you want some simple-minded stuff, you might simplify it to that, but you're missing the point. My point is understanding feminine nature as in a nutshell, as far as an essence of what it is and why, like, for instance, just because as a man, you might not understand why women do certain things, or why you might not even understand how to handle a woman, or understand why a woman might be more prone to do certain things than other things. Like, it take a certain amount of attention and detail to really catch the nuances of energy. I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy. Also, this is healthy for you to understand for yourself, because you have to implement a smaller percentage of feminine energy within your system, and you have to be aware of when you're displaying or into certain feminine energies yourself. So as a man, and same thing as a woman. As a woman, like, naturally in this world, you're going to be in situations like, I look at the world like this: you got to use everything you got. So there's going to be times where there's going to have to be more masculine energy that you show. But being aware of where you're using more of what energy is being put upon you, what's causing a certain reaction towards a certain energy, these different things help you along your way. Because it's like a person, when you realize, like, so for instance, right, everything comes down to, like, you think of a repairman. Like, a repairman, the skill of a repairman is really just being prepared and knowing the procedures behind certain things, knowing what tools to use for what situations. And that comes down to a lot of different professions. Like, even I'm for some reason I'm correlating this to warfare and things of that nature. Knowing what weapon to use for what situation, knowing what tool to use at what time for what situation to get a certain outcome. And there's going to always be times where you're going to have to either make do with what you got, or come up with a way to use it's always going to come down to you having to come up with a way to use what you got. Now, this metaphor, like I said, but without it going too far, that's just the nature of what I'm trying to break down for you to understand why it's good to know or peep certain small details. But back to what I was saying. So feminine energy being cardinal, okay, that's what it was, right? Now, let's talk about masculine energy. Masculine energy correlated with the sun. Leo energy is a fixed energy. So when you think of a masculine principle or a masculine essence, it comes down to being more fixated and focused on maybe one particular thing, right? So when you look at men and women in situations together, you start to be able to come to different conclusions based upon what we're looking at. We're looking at the moon, which changes every 2 days, and the sun, which doesn't change signs to a whole month. So a man's cycle of doing things in operation is a much longer time fixated on one thing, aka when you think of a masculine energy's role in a situation, a lot of times is to create a circumstance. And the reason behind it is because to a certain degree, a man externalizes consistency in order to create that consistency on the external. So a man, it's like a man expresses, well, a man's internal natures should be more correlated to being fixed on something, aka a goal, a premise, principles, certain things that you're looking at. And I know, like, even when you get into principles change, but, well, actually, no, let me change that. Morals change. Principles, for the most part, stay pretty firm. They can change, but it takes a lot more times for them to change, right? Because I was thinking of the ninth house energy and being mutable. But my point of the matter is just saying that when it comes to the masculine energy, a lot more things derive positively or manifest for them positively when they're able to focus and hone in on a particular thing for an extended period of time. And you could take that in many different directions. I try not to get too mixy, because how you live your life is how you live your life. So for instance, I could come to some kind of conclusion to say, you know, this is why men with too many women, right, end up being drained and lacking a lot of the abilities or the time or energy to do certain things based upon you as a man being caught up with too many women. You're in between too many worlds. Therefore, that kind of lifestyle could lead to certain results in the long run. And like I said, how you live your life is how you live your life. But if I'm looking at this energy, I'm starting to peep and put together certain things, right? And now everybody want to use certain information to suit their bias. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but again, to each their own as well. You can make the same argument on the opposite end of things. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got so many women, because I be on one thing and I need to spread my idea thin, or my idea further. And all I'm doing is just providing y'all context. Like, I'm not teaching y'all how to think. I'm not trying to give y'all ideas, but I'm correlating different things, because you might not see it that way. So I just want to provide many different angles to see the broad things that we all looking at, so that you can apply your own spin to it and curate a more accurate blueprint for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's all about yourself. So when you come to this channel and everything, it's not me trying to tell you and give you a blueprint for how I see things or how I think things should be done, but it is me just explaining what the energy is for you to have that canvas for yourself to paint it how it look for you, because you already seeing it how it look for you, so you already got the same tools. But anyway, back to my point. So when you look at feminine nature, right? Feminine nature is cardinal. Women need to change things many different times throughout a month. Women go through different phases. Women deal with initiating new things on a more consistent basis than a man might. So when you come down to certain frustrations between men and women, sometimes the man isn't changing enough for the woman, and the woman isn't staying consistent or allowing the man to settle into something long enough for him to feel comfortable. So that's a balance in and of itself, because y'all have to figure out a way to incorporate both. But this helps open the door for better communication between those phases and those times, even if it isn't, even if it's more self-communication. Because sometimes, right, self-communication is important too. Sometimes your partner needs you to be able to comprehend something that they can't quite articulate. Sometimes your partner needs you to peep something in a way that works for you to be able to help them. It's like that whole concept of help me so I can help you, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, make my life easier so I can make yours easier. Of course, that can go too far if an individual is taking advantage of that, aka neglecting their responsibility, or neglecting their responsibility to communicate, or completely letting that be the job of another person. But that plays out in many different breakdowns as far as communication goes in relationships. But even beyond that, like, you know, again, I'm talking within the context of maybe a romantic relationship, but this is any kind of relationship. It's like sometimes we gravitate, or we deeply appreciate people who are able to kind of comprehend things for ourselves, because that's another nature of Libra too. It's like when you're dealing with something on the outside looking in, a lot of times, like, it's kind of like the concept of, you know, you can know yourself, but there's a difference between, like, when you put yourself in the context of other people and you take what you know as far as your character and you challenge it by, aka you challenge it by expressing it and making it seen and able to be critiqued and recognized by others, aka putting yourself out there and going through different experiences, right? You derive different conclusions. You start to see different aspects of your life. You start to see different things in your life, and you're able to see the truth of who you think you are. But it's a thin line, because at the same time, you have to know who you are in your heart. But see, it's the equivalent of a person who never puts themselves out there to see if that is real in reality. You feel me? In like, when you start to put yourself in relation to others, you start to get a certain, you start to exalt Saturn. You get the real. Because you can say you the best anything all you want, but until you go up against and you prove it and you express it and you put content out that proves that makes that real, it doesn't exist to us, or it only exists within the confines of your own world, your own mind. But getting back to the point in the video, I just was pointing that out. The nature of women beats a change. The nature of man, or masculine energy, I should say, feminine and masculine energy. Masculine energy, the nature of it is to want to be more fixed and get into some form of routine, or, you know what I'm saying, in any matter, is to be able to fixate itself. So even when you're looking at, like, men and women and their attraction towards each other, men, a lot of times, they appreciate a woman's ability to change, but they also look for a woman who they can, on some level, I don't want to say predict, but there's a certain box or a frame of reference they can keep that will help them always kind of understand what's going on. Like, for instance, like, a man's worst type of relationship is with a woman who creates a certain level of chaos in which he can't quite get a grip. And this could look in many different forms, as in, like, he can't ever get to a place of knowing what she wants and being able to fulfill that pleasure within her, or even fulfillment as far as happiness. Or if a man can't find a way for his character, being himself, to be able to hit the mark when it comes to what he's considering his woman or his partner, that is going to make a man highly uncomfortable. This is like the equivalent of a man being with a woman who she's known by too many people, or she's in too many different spaces, that she goes through too many changes to where he can't quite he can't get a grip of it. He can't create no circumstances or see no forms of consistency within her character and his character in the same context. For a woman, though, a woman needs a man that can change and grow. That's why a lot of times women enter relationships trying to adjust a man's character to be able to shape and form how she feels it should look. But at the same time, that can go too far, and a woman needs to, again, be with a man who, as himself, because as himself, he's going to go through many changes. And as a women naturally are going to challenge any man to jump into different spaces in order to fit her many different spaces, because that's what a woman is. Like, that's what that feminine energy does. It changes every 2 hours, but everything is on a cycle. So it's like a woman can't even get comfortable with a man that can't handle her or be able to manage her cycles in a masculine like way that doesn't always lead to a feminine response, aka him wanting to withdraw or him getting in his emotions to make her feel bad about her emotions. Like, that, as a woman, starts to feel very you start to lose respect for a man, because you feel as though he's not consistent, or he's not able to be he's not firm or confident in and of himself to be able to ground things, you know what I'm saying? And as a woman, you start to feel highly uncomfortable, because at a certain point, it's like, damn, how can I trust him to lead or teach if he can't even stay consistent on his own word or stay focused on whatever it is that he's doing? Like, any man who's all up under a woman, that is going to be a man who's too cardinal, who's too accommodating. And a lot of times women need that friction in order to even feel attraction into any relationship. And that's something that if you're trying to approach things as a nice guy, aka you're trying to people please or pander in any kind of way, this is why you always going to end up in a situation where no one respects you, because that's not real or authentic, especially as a man for a masculine nature. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be some kind of edge or fixation, or edge, or I'll say like when you look at fixated energy, it's like this rigidness. It has to be a certain level of rigidness as a man, so that and this comes down to you having principles and moving throughout the world in a consistent like way for us to respect and recognize. You feel me? Like, it's a certain way you go about it, you know what I'm saying? And then that is able to be recognized and respected as a man, as opposed to, again, a man who's always trying to accommodate somebody else's character or principles. And a lot of women feel highly uncomfortable with a man who's too changey, who switch up too much. That's like a strange information, like that's a strange, I said information, but I meant to use a different word. That's like a strange, like, women might not even peep. That's why they not feeling a certain dude or able to like get with a certain energy. But that a lot of times be what it is. That man too switchy. He too feminine. He's too here today, gone tomorrow. I can't trust his word. I can't trust him. That's where you start to get into those spaces. And sometimes, again, based upon your natal alignments, you might have certain dispositions to more masculine or feminine energy based upon what you how you see the world and how you react to it. Right? As a masculine energy, you're always going to have a certain percentage of masculine that you need to display, and a certain level of feminine that's much less on the scale, or a little less on the scale, much less low key, and vice versa for women. But it's knowing how to balance those energies, because as a man, I'm saying that you can be too stubborn and rigid, and sometimes, and there is times you need to change. You need to develop your character. You need to grow and nurture things sometimes. And that's what a woman teaches you when she comes into your life. She puts your attention on certain other details that might not be within your realm of reality. A lot of times this causes arguments, but I look at arguments and conflict as healthy things in relationships, because they're just a highlight on certain things that you might not understand about the other side, and vice versa, your other half. And they're here to teach you certain things. It's not all fun games, rainbows, butterflies, and things of that nature. Y'all have to go through certain shit for you to understand the context that y'all even interacting with each other in. And see, through those principles, there's going to be different nuances as far as your spiritual lessons that you're supposed to pick up and develop and things of that nature. And if a person in your life is not helping you correlate these types of abilities, then there really no, they'll find themselves out of your life, and vice versa. Because that's what we're here to do. So in some way, you'll manifest a situation where y'all just got to separate, aka things are just too good. Now, I'm not saying things are supposed to be toxic and negative either. It's supposed to be a balance. And it's like not even coming down to good or bad. It's really just y'all experiencing things. And sometimes there's more frustration and conflict, and sometimes there's, you know, more smoothness and togetherness, and whatever synonym goes along with that. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video real quick. I gotta run in, but for the most part, yeah. Oh yeah, so the Subcom creative pop-up, Creatives on Vacation, I just dropped that. I'm gonna be providing more details. You know, we're gonna make another video so y'all understand the full context of what we doing with that. But that's gonna be huge. It's gonna take place in the springtime, so make sure y'all tap in with the links. I'm gonna go ahead and make a post on this channel if I haven't already by now. I'm finna make one so that y'all can get access to the sign-up sheet. And this is just the RSVP spot. Payments is not gonna be due until like later on, like December is, yeah, just like December for the most part is where we're going to be looking for payments. But you know, we're gonna work with y'all. We're gonna do a payment plan, because I know the ticket a little expensive, but it's coming with a place to stay. We're gonna provide food and travel when you get there. So you know what I'm saying, when you all you really got it, you know, that's the ticket, and then of course your plane ticket. But it's gonna be further enough in advance for you to even get a deal on the flight, because we're not doing things till March. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be moving out till March, or actually booking till, well, we're gonna book before March, but I'm saying we're not gonna be at the spot till March. It's not going down till March. But we want to get everything in, at least for the most part, be able to lock in the Airbnb by December and give confirmations to everybody so that we can move forward and be straight by
March, and that way you got enough time to get your plane ticket in advance, you know what I'm saying, get your money up, all that good shit. But that shit going down, you know, we're putting creatives under one roof, and we just want to lock in, you know, put in the work, but also collaborate, expand each other's businesses, basically do what we did on the conference, but we're doing it in a much more light and fun type way, you know what I'm saying? It's like a different vibe, you know, it's all fun, but it's like a different vibe. You know, conferences were a little more professional, performative. This one is a lot more intimate, us getting together, creating with each other, you know, and getting to know each other on those types of levels. You know, we trying to bring this shit into real life. We trying to change the world for real. So we got to do things in real life, real shit. And you know, so we putting that in, we putting that energy in, and then we also we're looking to hire 2 camera people, so we're gonna be filming the whole event. And you know, I don't want to give too much away for that, but we like, when I say we hiring 2 camera people, 2 camera operators, you know, it's gonna be serious. So it's gonna be some fun stuff, real cool vibes. Make sure y'all check that post out on IG if y'all haven't. I'm gonna post it on YouTube too, and y'all can email us at 717conference.info@gmail.com to always get more information. But anyway, much love. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.